Hello, I'm Nova.
Hi, I'm Monica,
Hello, I'm Cash.
and you're listening to Anxious at Bedtime.
This is Anxious at Bedtime.
Before we get started, I want to talk to you guys about a TikTok that I saw. Did you hear that they think they found out who the Zodiac killer is?
Oh yeah, it's that one guy's grandpa. I saw that.
Yeah,
I think I remember seeing something like that too.
I'm so excited. That I was telling Cash, that's one of my I would love to know the answer to it before my lifetime. It was aliens, what happened to Amelia Earhart, and who the Zodiac killer is.
They
And
found Amelia Earhart, so I mean,
and the government announced that aliens are real. So that was the last one on my list, and I'm stoked.
we still got to see them fuckers.
Yeah, I'd still love to see them. But they said they were real, and that's enough for me. But yeah, if you haven't seen it or you're not sure, Nova, you should go and watch it for sure because it's insane. And it's not just I've seen a lot of videos where people are like, my grandpa looks like the picture of the Zodiac killer, but this guy has a lot of solid evidence.
Well, this dude, yeah, he's got some stuff. He's like, bro, it's my grandpappy. He fucking did it.
Yeah. I just hope that
That's
they
so
can
crazy.
yeah, but I just hope that they can use like his DNA or something to prove whether he truly was a Zodiac or not officially. But I think that's all of the news that I have. Do you guys have anything?
A ghost touched my head today.
A ghost did touch Nova's head. She told me about that. It was petting her hair.
Yeah, I got rizzed up by a ghost.
It was like, Mama, you look stressed. Let me rub your hair.
Was like,
Yeah, for
bro,
real.
not the hairstyle. Let me style you up, hun.
It's a little frizzy up top. Let me smooth it down for you.
This ponytail ain't it for you.
Bitch, you greasy. Let me fix
What
this.
the hell?
It was a hairstylist.
You know what? I've always said that I wanted like somebody to just do my hair every day. And if it were a ghost, so be it.
I would have no problem with
Yeah.
Monica, you would freak the fuck out if it was a ghost touching your hair.
that.
If you don't know what's touching your hair, you freak out. Don't act like, oh no, this is fine. If a ghost is doing your hair, you no.
Well, obviously, I would need to give consent first. But after that,
You just did.
you caught me there.
Called out.
Oh, a throwback to a previous episode. I realized I have one more reoccurring dream. It's a lot more recent, the past few years, but my recurring dream is me trying to get an autographed Patrick Mahomes jersey for cash. I have that one a lot.
That guy's fucking elusive. Every time we've come in contact and he says he'll do it, like at the golf thing, he doesn't.
He never circles
Doesn't
back.
happen.
It's always too busy.
Never, not once.
We've spent so many years trying to get an autograph. Holy cow. What is it now? 5 years?
At least.
Whew. But that is all of the new business that I think I have. Today's a Nova episode. So, Nova, what do you have to tell us about?
All right. Today we will be talking about the well-known, well-loved Bigfoot. But how much do we actually know about him? We know he's very tall, has long, dark, shaggy hair, smells horrible, lives in the woods, and
Hey,
of
we
course
don't
has
know that.
wings.
That's an accusation. Let's not go throwing that away. Let's not go throwing that around. He might be sensitive.
You're right. You're right.
I've seen him on the
You
Jack
go.
Link's jerky commercials, and it worries me being mean to that guy because I'm not messing with Sam Squanch.
Or isn't he recently the face of Head and Shoulders?
We love that.
I think the last Super Bowl he was in a Head and Shoulders commercial or something like that.
He's working on his stench.
Yeah, see, he's figuring it out.
I'm just saying, maybe he's not really stanky. That's just a misconception. The guy's just fucking, sensitive.
There was a couple things that I saw. So there's this guy, I forgot his name, but he like owns a museum that's like dedicated to Bigfoot, and he claims that he has smelt Bigfoot before. I don't know how. But
Oh,
he said, yeah, he said that it smelled like imagine a skunk that had been rolling around in dead animals and hanging out by gross dumpsters. I was like, oh, that's lovely.
well, that's easy for us
But
to imagine.
I don't remember what the movie
right,
was, but there is a movie there is a movie reference, so I get it, where it says it smells like Sam Squatch's dick. So I think it was Beer Fest, something like that. But let me Google this
Oh
shit.
no.
The quote is, "It smells like Bigfoot's dick," and it's Anchorman.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Oh,
Yes, you have. I've made you watch it 5 times. You just don't pay attention.
If it was early in our relationship, I was watching you, not the movie.
No, it's been many a times. You just don't like Will Ferrell very much.
Don't tell the world that.
and then another thing too that I found was that supposedly he lets off this smell like on purpose so that humans stay away from him.
Ooh, I can get behind that.
It's like when people go to
Right?
prison and they want to just shit themselves and smell disgusting all the time, so nobody messes with them.
Honestly, if I could be like in the grocery store and just like poof, put out a smell and people get away from me, oh my gosh, that would change my life.
Not me. I hate stanky things,
For
so that's
real.
I like smelling good. I wear umpteen different colognes. I cannot do the stank, so no, it's a no for me, player.
What if it was a
I
smell that just smelled so good you had to get away from it?
Or what if it was magic and it smelled good to you, but really gross to everybody else?
That'd
Like
be
you
pretty
could,
cool too, but I mean, I'd still be sensitive because everybody's running and saying I stink. I'd be like, "Bitch, it smells good." The fuck?
but you're in control of when it poofs out.
Yeah, and it'd be poofing out all the time because I think it smells good, and then all of a sudden I'd be extra sensitive. Like maybe I think I'd be like our cat Kevin. I'd like the smell of stank things.
I don't know. I just don't like when strangers are all up on me in the grocery store, and I would love a little space.
I don't like that either.
He also goes by lots of different names like Sasquatch, Skunk Ape, Grassman, and Wood Booger. I
You
personally have
just
never heard
say
those last two before.
you just say
No.
skunk ape.
You're gonna roll past wood
Yeah, Skunk
booger,
Ape.
I'm gonna roll
I
past
know,
wood
right?
booger. Skunk ape, like
Or Grassman.
grass man.
yeah, grass man. I don't believe that one, but skunk ape and wood booger. This guy, he's fucking okay.
No, I've definitely heard grass man before, but it was not in reference to a Sasquatch. The hookup.
They're like Hank over here, the hookup over here, our plug,
Hugs.
Big
Yeah, I
Yeti.
think
Shout out
Skunk
to
Ape
him.
came from the smell and his fur pattern, but I'm not too sure.
That makes sense.
Hmm But and those are just like a handful of them. Like there are so many, many more. Both in English and a lot of other languages, especially in Native American languages. I don't want to butcher the pronunciations though, so I'm gonna skip over those. But there is one that I can pronounce. It's Sasquatch, which roughly translates to hairy man.
Oh.
Now let's dive into more background that I personally didn't know about. For instance, people aren't fully certain exactly how old his legend is. Like, I was finding so much, and like, it literally goes back thousands of years. It's crazy,
It's kind of scary to me, but I like it.
right? It makes, for me, it makes me believe him even more, knowing how old the legend is, and not
Mm-hmm.
just some like 1950 hoax or something.
That's
Exactly.
that's what I say about all the folklore. I like it better when there's an ancient, like something that tracks back further and further that they've known about it or like experienced the shit way longer. That makes it a little bit more fun for me.
Exactly.
Do you think they're like fucking vampires in hibernation, like in disguise? Thousands of years old. They're like, fuck it, dude. We got to go hide out. It's cold in winter. Some of them just live out in the middle of nowhere, get all fucking hairy.
No, I don't think so.
Speaking of 1950s, though, in 1958, bulldozer operator for a logging company, Jerry Crew, noticed a set of large footprints about 16 inches long and very human like in Humboldt County, California. He told his coworkers about them, which led to many of them coming forward about seeing similar tracks on previous job sites.
What?
Along with, right, along with footprints, there were other strange things too, like oil drums that weighed 450 pounds moved with no explanation.
Okay. So the feet, there's always that thought that somebody could be faking it, but moving barrel or oil barrels that heavy? No, that somebody's not doing that for a prank.
Right? At first, they thought someone had to have been pranking them, but they kept finding more footprints. And eventually, Jerry Crew reached out to a reporter, and the story spread, cementing the name Bigfoot. And that's where the Bigfoot name came from.
Were the oil barrels dented or just like moved?
Yeah, that's a good question.
No, just move,
That's crazy.
right?
So maybe he was moving them around like doing storytelling with his friends and he was like, "Okay, gather around your chairs."
Right.
I don't think that's what he was doing.
I think he was.
You're so innocent in these thoughts.
What do you think he was doing moving them?
He was like, dumb bitch, this is the wrong spot. You got to put
Getting
it
his
over here.
gains.
Why is this here? Move this shit. He was like, these things are in my way. Let me move them.
I like Nova's idea that he was working out.
Sadly, however, they were being pranked.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know, such a fucking bummer. But in
And you let us go on that long
2002,
about it?
I gotta build the
Now we look
suspense,
dumb.
bro. So look, I felt so dumb reading it. But so in
Yours wasn't being
2002,
recorded.
um, in 2002, the family of one of Jerry Crew's deceased coworkers came forward and revealed a collection of large carved wooden feet that were stored in his basement. The prankster's name was Ray Wallace. He was inspired by another hoaxer, Grant Mullins, who revealed info about his hoaxes in 1982.
Why would you fake that?
Fun.
Right? But like here, I got like a counterpoint that I'm gonna get to in a bit.
Okay.
So in the 1930s in Toledo, Washington, he and a group carved large feet out of wood to scare huckleberry pickers. The same group also claimed to be responsible for the alleged Ape Canyon incident, which I'll also get into in a minute. Um, but one thing I wonder though is if Wallace acted alone, how the heck did he move those oil drums? Like, yeah, they had the equipment to do that, but how did he use the equipment and make it look like he didn't? Like, because those areas were usually muddy. So I feel like his coworkers would have noticed tracks or something.
Oh, that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was thinking too, like, maybe it's the conspiracy theorist in me, but what if these men were forced to, like, what if they were put up to saying they're the ones that did it?
They had to recant like all of the shit they saw and just be like, hey, you guys didn't see shit. You did this. You made it up.
Maybe.
Exactly. Government gaslight.
Bigfoot was blackmailing him. He's like, look, dude, that was cool back then, but I got a family and kids.
I don't need this publicity.
You're ruining this shit. Like, they don't want the notoriety, man. They just want a normal life of a Sam Squanch out here in the fucking woods, dude. And you got hella people out here taking our morels, like eating our food, telling us we stink. That's not cool.
Okay, I'm gonna jump into the Ape Canyon incident now. So on July 16th, 1924, an article in the Oregonian made national news with the story of a conflict between a group of gold prospectors and a group of quote unquote ape men near Mount St. Helens. The men reported encountering ape men near their remote cabin. One of the guys, Fred Beck, said he struck one of the creatures with rifle fire, and then that later that night they said that they were under attack as the creatures were throwing large rocks at their cabin, damaging the roof and knocking Beck unconscious. The next morning, they fled the area.
That's
And
terrifying.
then, right? However, though, the U.S. Forest Service investigated the area, supposedly, and found no compelling evidence of the event and concluded it was likely a fabrication.
I don't know why they would fake that.
I don't know. The last guy's apparently
Right?
Yeah, but the last guys, somebody faked it, but the people that reported it, they weren't faking it. They had a prank played on them. You know what I mean?
Another thing, too, is that stories of large hair covered bipedal ape men or mountain devils had been a persistent piece of folklore in the area for centuries prior to the event. So, were the men silenced, then later made to say it was them, or did they use the folklore for their own benefit to get their quick little minute of fame?
I don't know. I can't shake the feeling that that one's real.
Me too. I fully believe that these men were told that they can't tell the truth about it, and just to claim that it was them and they were just being little jokesters.
Yeah, because I don't really see a whole group of men, especially back then, where everybody agrees that it's fake. Like, or everybody agrees to fake it.
Hmm. And then the part that really gets me too is the one guy, Fred, being knocked unconscious. Yeah, he just purposely knocked himself out just to make the story more real.
Yeah.
And then, so back to Wallace again, real quick. He was like the guy from the construction site. He was also from Toledo and knew Mullins and stated he collaborated with him to obtain a pair of the large wooden feet to use on the construction site in 1950.
Hmm.
And I think it's pretty weird that they waited, like, if that story is true, like, they waited that many years. Because the Ape Canyon incident was 1924, and then the construction site was 1958. Like, why wait that long?
That
Especially
is a
if you're
long.
just going to come out and be like, oh, yeah, it was just a hoax.
Exactly. I don't know. That's really weird. And I still don't see why the group of men would
And
fake
then,
it.
right, same. Finally, the most popular piece of evidence, the one that we all probably think of when we think Bigfoot, is the famous Patterson Gilman film from 1967. It's a pretty short clip of just a Bigfoot walking. Um, Probably the most iconic footage of a supposed Bigfoot, and yet it continues to be a highly scrutinized, analyzed, and debated piece of evidence.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I've seen it.
It's like the OG Bigfoot video, like where everyone gets that Bigfoot pose from and everything.
I probably have. I've watched a lot of Bigfoot documentaries, but
It's the classic one from like the
That's fair.
70s. It looks like it's from the 70s. If you saw it, you'd be like, ah, that one. Yeah, yeah, I got it.
yeah.
I personally didn't know it by name, but like even just like seeing the picture of it, I was like, oh, that one. All right. Now let's discuss possible misidentifications. Because like there has to have been like at least some reportings that were misidentifications. And these are ones that like scientists and a lot of other people have like concluded what could have been seen instead of Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
So number one is American black bears. The
That makes
next
sense.
one is escaped apes, right? Escaped apes such as chimpanzees, gorillas, and orangutans. Even I hope I pronounced this right, but pareidolia, that thing where like your brain like forces itself to see faces and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one is even humans. Like, not so fun fact, humans actually have been mistaken for Bigfoot several times, so much so, which has led to a if you see him, don't shoot law in some areas to prevent people from getting injured.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. In 2013, a 21-year-old man in Oklahoma was arrested after he accidentally shot his friend in the back while their group was hunting for Bigfoot. In 2017, a shamanist wearing clothing made of animal furs was vacationing in a North Carolina forest when locals reported him as Bigfoot. But luckily, this guy wasn't shot. um, but so after a lot of locals were reporting that guy as Bigfoot, the Greenville Police Department issued a public notice to not shoot Bigfoot because they were scared that people were just going to start shooting people, mistaking them for Bigfoot.
Isn't that what happened when Dick Cheney shot his friend? No, that was a duck hunting accident.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Dick Cheney, the former VP of the country, shot somebody in the fucking face with a shotgun while they were
Oh.
hunting one time.
Sheesh.
And then that guy apologized for getting in the way to the guy that shot him in the face because he was the vice president. He was like, I shouldn't have gotten in the way. My bad.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
yeah, I
In
don't think I heard of that
2018,
either.
oh, yeah, I don't think I have either. That's so fucking crazy.
Yeah.
In 2018, a person was shot at multiple times by a hunter near Helena, Montana. The
Hmm.
hunter mistook him for Bigfoot. Other people have been mistaken for him too, such as feral humans, hermits, even escaped African slaves, and also Vietnam veterans who lived in remote wooded areas, like because like PTSD and stuff, just to like live by themselves.
Yeah.
I didn't really see like a full number on like how many people have been injured being mistaken for Bigfoot, but it's definitely been more than a couple times, sadly.
You think people are just shooting at stench? It's stanky over there. Shoot.
No, but I do want to ask, when people get shot and mistaken as Sasquatch, is it because like is it from groups of people being out looking for Sasquatch, or is it just people out hunting or walking or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, Sasquatch," and shoot? Or are they actually
It's
looking for
actually
Sasquatch?
it's a mix of both. Um, both hunting like normal, and then both groups of that are hunting Bigfoot on purpose.
That's crazy. Because I can at least wrap my head around if somebody is actively on the lookout for Bigfoot, how they can mistake somebody, but not if you like if Bigfoot isn't even on your mind.
For real though, just a bunch of trigger happy paranoid people.
Something, yeah.
And then another theory that some people believe is that Bigfoot could be the extinct Gigantopithecus, or at least a descendant that lived on and evolved. The Gigantopithecus, I messed up the first pronunciation, I'm so sorry, originates from Southeast Asia. But here's something that's kind of crazy to me. So, no fossils of it have been found in America, but even in Asia, the only recovered fossils of this animal have been of mandibles, which are like jawbones, and teeth,
Oh, wow.
right? I think they found some skulls, but I'm not like 100% sure. Like I saw some pictures, but I don't know if it was actually a skull of that animal or if it was like a prop or something. But
I
those
wonder.
things are huge.
Yeah, I bet. I wonder what causes that though for the skeletons to not be found.
They never find Sam Squanch skeletons. They always get reports of them, hear about them for thousands of years, but they could never find the skeletal remains. Nothing that's definitively a Sasquatch, like nothing that's definitively a Bigfoot. So it's crazy. Do they just burn up like vampires? Again, ties back to my theory. Vampires when they're off season. No
Okay,
remains.
I'll give you that now.
A little bit of spoiler alert, but we'll talk about some possibilities of why they don't find his fossils in part two,
Okay, cool, because that intrigues me a lot.
right?
I'm going with vampire.
But so some people believe that this animal survived somehow and lives on as the Yeti and the Sasquatch. Some people also think that Bigfoot could be the missing link between apes and humans.
Hmm.
I've heard that one before, and I honestly I could see it. Like I could totally see it. Like you
Is
think
big.
about that mermaid documentary we watched when we were younger,
Mm-hmm.
and how like one group got separated and then the other one went to like land, and then the other group like their island sank or whatever, so they had to evolve and adapt to the ocean.
Mm-hmm. Is Bigfoot smaller than apes and gorillas and all that?
um I think he's taller. He's been reported to be anywhere between like 8 to 10 feet, I think.
So here's another theory. Like they talk about they see or they found giants in video footage of giants on the side of mountains. Like they keep seeing crossovers of human giant like people.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's the evolutionary track. You got a Sam Squanch, a Sasquatch, or a Bigfoot, and then evolution, they start turning into regular just giants. And then eventually they shrink down. I mean, You got tons of humans, well, not tons, but you got humans that are well over 7 foot, 8 foot tall. We talked about this on a previous pod, but like, bam, that's the evolution. That's why, maybe that's the missing link of evolution too.
Maybe. That's definitely an interesting
I could hella
idea.
see that. And then this is the last paragraph that I have for part one. And let's discuss a little bit after it. So, according to Live Science, there have been over 10,000 reported sightings in the United States alone. About 1/3 of the claims are located in the Pacific Northwest, which I kind of feel like that number's not right, but it's
Mm-hmm.
cool. While most reports are considered mistakes or hoaxes, though, it still makes you think about how many really saw him, or if not, what else could be lurking in the woods.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm just saying, I called it, most of it's in the PNW, even if it's only a third, that's still an abundance of the sightings.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Especially when the number is 10,000, over 10,000.
And it makes me really, really curious still, like extremely curious about these bones. I'm ready for episode 2 already.
I know, I can't wait.
Right, me too. I know. And there's like more statistics on like how many sightings have been like in each state that I'll include in part two also.
Okay, awesome.
I didn't include it in this one just because I wanted to give part two a little bit more.
Yeah, that makes sense. But that'll definitely be fun because we legit a few weeks ago were having a conversation about like Sasquatch is only in the PNW. He's not anywhere else.
I kept telling her he's other places.
I don't know. I guess I really thought he was just in the Pacific Northwest and then the little bits of Western Canada right there.
Right, but Homeboy gets around. And do you remember the nickname Grassman?
Yeah,
Guess where that originates from?
I'm gonna say Southern California.
Egypt.
What?
Florida.
That makes sense.
I forgot where Wood Booger came from, but I can include that in part two also, like just where like each of the names came from.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about the wood burger.
It's hard to say.
Forgot about the wood
Wood Booger.
burger.
He still said it weird.
Wood burger.
Bugger.
Wood burger. Wood
Wood Booger.
booger.
I'm gonna go on record. If I ever get mistaken for Sasquatch, I'm gonna be very upset.
I am too at that point.
I'm gonna go on record and say that I 1000% believe in Bigfoot.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And I 1000% want to let you guys know I will never be mistaken for Sam Squanch. Like I said, I like to smell good for one. For two, I am extremely pasty. There's no chance of me getting a tan well enough to where I don't fucking glow. Yeti, maybe.
And you have like no body hair, so I think you're okay.
Fucking tell people on the internet
Edward Cullen who?
again. We're going back to how they might be vampires.
Oh yeah, tying it all in.
I'm not a fucking Sam Squanch
You're not.
or a vampire.
We'll see.
The
Oh,
whole
God.
vampire thing would make somewhat sense. Like, because, they steal livestock and eat animals that could eat humans. What if they can't drink human blood because they're part human or some weird stuff? Or, I don't know. You kind of see where I'm going with it.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's why they're Sasquatches, like, and not humanoid vampires, because the vampires are the ones that drink the human blood, and the Sasquatches are the still blood drinkers, but they're like, hey, we're not gonna fucking drink humans, so we're not gonna look more like them. They drink the blood of animals, so they look and smell more like an animal. So they're both vampires,
Now
just
that
different
makes
descendants.
sense.
Yeah. And it said that the blood from people is what makes vampires youthful and beautiful. So if you're not drinking human blood,
You're drinking cow blood and you're kidnapping cows. That's why you smell like a fucking wet cow. I dig it. Yeah, got it.
I judged your idea very hard in the beginning, but yeah, that's not a bad theory.
You forget I'm an idea
It
man.
really
They may
isn't.
not all be good ideas, but I got ideas.
But yeah, so that was part one of Bigfoot. We are having a part two coming up. Part two is probably going to be a little crazy, but just hang in there with us. Some of the stuff is a little bit wild and out there, but just keep an open mind. It's definitely gonna be interesting. I can't wait.
I've already named episode 2.
What is it?
This one is Bigfoot. That one's Big Feet.
Okay.
I love it.
Idea man. So definitely stay tuned for part 2. That will be out, should be August 22nd.
Should be.
Should be.
Things happen.
Just say sometime next week.
Sometime. Yeah.
It'll be out after this one, that's for sure.
If you enjoy our podcast, please like, comment, review, rate.
Do all the things, all the stuff.
We
All the
greatly
things.
appreciate it. You can follow our social medias. We have a TikTok and an Instagram, Anxious at Bedtime Podcast. If you or somebody you know has had a brush with the paranormal and you would like to have your story read on the pod, please email it to anxiousatbedtimepodcast@gmail.com.
If you have any feedback or constructive criticism, feel free to shoot it that way too. Hopefully the email, that's a little bit more nice than, on the socials. Was Hagman, please email.
And remember, the world might seem like a scary place.
Full of Sam Squanches, Sasquatches, Bigfoot, Big Feet, tons of things they call it, but we're probably fine.
We're probably fine.
We're probably fine. Sleep tight.